Hi, welcome back to the Counterfeit Emotions podcast. I'm Curtis Morley, and I'm an emotionologist. And thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you find this content helpful, if it's blessed your life, hit the follow, hit subscribe. That helps us produce more content. And today, super excited because we have Mike Draper in the studio, the ultimate girl dad. If you're not following him on social media, you need to go follow him. Every single day I pull up the content and I laugh. It's hilarious and it's also really great stuff. We're going to dedicate this episode to our daughters, Ava and Ellie, for Mike. And today we're going to talk about what it means to be a dad. We're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about how counterfeit emotions plays into relationships and what that means. We'll even talk about some social media and Mike's journey, and we're going to get into the heart. So join us as we go through this journey of how to be a girl dad and how to have authentic emotions as we go. So Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me here. I'm excited. We've had good conversation before the cameras got rolling, and
I know.
Decided to keep it rolling here.
I feel like we needed to be recording that.
I
whole
know
time.
we probably should have been, but that's all right. We'll get it out again. It'll be good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And thanks so much for coming down from Oregon.
Yeah, little flight flew in just a couple hours ago, and hitting the ground running, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So we were kind of talking beforehand about how you got into this journey. You went from military to police to real estate to social media influencer. And I'm looking at your following. You've got over 1 million people on Instagram. What are the other numbers on Facebook and TikTok?
There's about 2.6 million across all platforms. So there's 790 or so on TikTok. There's 580,000 on Facebook, and then there's Threads and YouTube as well. And but the main ones are TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it was so funny when I told my daughter Ava that we were doing this episode. She's like, "Oh, I love his stuff. He's so funny."
Oh my goodness. Oh geez.
I had no idea she was even following you.
It's funny. So my daughter Ellie, she's 11, and so she's 5th grade, and she's on a club volleyball team. And even recently, and she's on gymnastics as well. I think it was at the gymnastics tournament last weekend. One of her friends on the team at the dinner we did after the tournament, after the meet, was like, sat next to me with all the parents and everything, and at dinner, and was just like, "I see your videos." And just like out of the blue, like no warm up, nothing. I think she was 6th grade or something. And I'm like, I'm like, oh my goodness. She's like, "I like them. They're good. I like the ones about this and that." And so it's funny. That's funny that you share that Ava has seen the videos or watches them. So
yeah, it was hilarious. I told her we'd dedicate this episode to her. And
I'm honored. I'm very honored that we can do this.
Yeah, and it's super fun because when I started following you, you were the what I would call the ultimate girl dad.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's so fun because Ava's going to prom tonight.
That's such a big deal.
And
I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing. My Patty just sent me a picture, so you can.
Do you approve of her date? Does she have a date, or is she going with friends, or is
she's going with Noah?
Nice. Okay, very cool.
Yeah. And yesterday was dress shopping. So
let's see what
that's the
it's beautiful dress. Beautiful. I know. Beautiful daughter.
She's so beautiful.
That's awesome.
She's got such a great, kind heart. Like,
yeah.
I love that about her.
I wonder where she gets it from.
It's her mom.
Oh, okay. Well,
definitely her mom. But so I've known you as the girl dad, but you have a bigger story. Like you started in the military. You started with police work and did that for quite a while, right?
Yeah. I was a police officer for 5.5 years or so. I was in the military for just over 6 years, and then in the real estate space, I still operate in the real estate space, like with some investments and things a little bit. But as far as full time, just a couple years doing that, because at the same time I was doing social media or starting social media and growing that, and then that kind of took over. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and thinking back to when you were in the military, would the guys in your platoon would they believe that you're now a 2.6 million social media influencer? What would they say if they?
Well, I've spoken to some of them since. Some of them have reached out a little bit, not like reached out, like some of them have commented on some things, and I see them in my DMs, and they're most of the ones that reach out, they're all just proud. They're like, "Oh, it's awesome what you're doing," and they're just like cheering you on, like, "Get after it, do more, keep going." But thinking back then, so I was 18 when I joined. It was April
Oh
7th
wow.
of 2009.
Right out of high
For
school.
Yeah, so I was out of high school for like 8 or 9 months working, waiting for my time to ship out to Texas, and it was a Tuesday night. I remember it very clearly. Tuesday night, April 7th, 2009, San Antonio, Texas. We arrive at Joint Base Lackland. Oh my God, I can't think of the name. Lackland Air Force Base uh, in Texas. And so that started that journey for 6 years. But I'm trying to think back then. I was 18, 19 to 25, just about. No, I had different goals, different mission. Social media was not on my radar. That was like Facebook, MySpace, before, just after MySpace kind of time.
MySpace.
MySpace was like high school, earlier than that, I think. I can't remember exactly when, but it was really Facebook time. You post and you have your family,
Yeah.
your high school people, if you're in college or wherever you work. So I had like distinct little groups on Facebook, and I had like, I don't know, 500 people following me, or friends or whatever it was. So yeah,
Yeah.
back then, would I think I would doing this? No, I have no idea. It would sound cool then, I think. Younger me, I don't know. I was on a mission to just do good at whatever I was doing.
Right
Yeah.
on. Right on. And it seems like you are. Like it really
Yeah.
does. It seems like you're having a great influence across the world. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
People coming up to you in volleyball games.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. At the airport, sometimes, once in a while, someone comes up and says, "Hey, I like your videos." Or, "Are you Mike?" Or I used to get, "Are you Mortgage Mike?" Because my name on there used to be Mortgage Mike.
Oh, really?
Again, to try to drum up business for my sales-based position as a loan officer. So I made it Mortgage Mike, so that when I'm making videos, people see that I'm in the mortgage space and real estate space. But yeah, so once in a while it happens. And then more recently, Ellie's friends, a couple of them have,
Oh, that's fun.
"You're the YouTuber?" I'm like, "YouTube? That's where you see me?" Like, all the places. But yeah, that's
Not
funny.
TikTok or Instagram.
No, yeah. So
YouTube.
it's just, well, yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So and Ellie seems to be quite a willing participant in all of this.
10% of the time.
10%.
10-15%. Yeah. Yeah.
She's actually my favorite. I love her responses.
She's very
they're
real.
so funny.
It's very her in those videos. She used to maybe do them more earlier, like when she was younger, that is.
Yeah.
And now it's, yeah, hit or miss. I don't really ask her as often. I'm not super focused on growing the accounts right now, so I'm not really trying to find anything that would make sense. It's usually when we come across a video or a topic that and my brain's also on creative mode, where I just see or hear a piece of content where I'm like, "Ooh, that would work, and that would be good," or like, "Oh, that's fun." Even like the one I posted this couple days ago of her doing volleyball. I record all of her volleyball stuff, right? All of her, anytime that she's active in a play, I'm hitting record. It's like ready to go. I wasn't planning on making a video, but then I came across another piece of content that was edited in a certain way that I'm like, "Oh, that would go well with her clips." It's almost like a highlight reel. And so I made that one, right? And she didn't have to do anything for it, but so she'll do some of the things. And once in a while, she's brought in a couple of things to me, some dance ones.
Oh, wow.
Can we do this? I'm like, "Yes, whatever you want, babe." I would love to do it with you,
Oh, that's fantastic.
So those are always fun.
I love that. I love that. And to like really get into it.
Yeah, please.
What does it mean to you to be a girl dad?
What does it mean to be a girl dad?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Hearing that question, I break it down into like two different categories. I think there are responsibilities or duties, maybe we can call it, as a girl dad. And then what does it mean to be a girl dad? And then I think there's a breakdown of how to do it, I suppose, maybe another category. So what it means to me to be a girl dad, I think it's the same as as being a parent, as being a good human. And I think it really comes down to knowing like who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. And so, and what mission you're on. And you can be on a couple different missions, but there's going to be an overarching priority of a mission. And those missions can change depending on what season you're in. And so when you're in girl dad season, I'll call it, you have this human who you are responsible for, right? Whether you're married, divorced, whatever the case is. Without you, this kiddo is not going to thrive. Like they have a way lower chance of thriving. And
Yeah.
then if you're just a babysitter of a parent, I'll put quotes there for those that are listening. I'm doing some air quotes there. If you're just watching your kid, making sure they don't get sick and they're not walking out into the street, but you're not fully parenting the best that you could, then you're just leaving it up to chance for them to become productive members of society, to become productive humans, to go towards their goals. And then there's another level of if you're trying to be the best you can be as a parent or a girl dad, then the question is, what does that require out of you to be a girl dad? To get what you, not what you want, but what is your expectation or what is your goal or mission for your daughter that you want? And how do you have to be, or what do you have to do to get that out of them, right? So what I think it means to be a girl dad, I think it means if you truly want to be a girl dad, the best that you can. I'm always trying to be excel in everything that I do. As far as not excel, I want to be excellent. I want to do it to my highest capacity, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Then I believe to be a girl dad, you need to be at your best capacity. You need to be at your highest potential that you can do in all areas of your life that you deem important to pass on to your daughter, right? So if you want her to be, this applies for sons as well, right? But
Sure.
for girls, it's such a I love being a girl dad, like more than anything. I don't have any boys, so I can't speak to that directly. I know they're a different animal. Like I hear the stories and I see how they act. I know how I was. I had brothers and sisters growing up, so like I have a degree of understanding. But as a girl, I love being a girl dad so much. For different reasons, but I think it requires you to be the best version of yourself in all the areas that you deem important that you want to pass on to your kiddo. Because your daughter is not going to do what you say, right? It's not for the long term. They're going to do what you do, and they're going to do what you are or who you are, right? More likely than if you were just to tell them, hey, go be nice to people, go be kind, go be a team leader, go be a team player, stand up for yourself, do good in school, like kind of these generic vague terms of like
Yeah.
being a good parent. Like those are great, they're not bad, but could you do it better? And what does better mean? So anyway, so that's like, I can go deep on that all day long and I'm happy to dive deep, but it's really understanding what it is you want your daughter to become. So I think what it means to be a girl dad is to be, it's like what it means to be a girl dad. It's really hard to answer that exactly. I think it means you need to be the best version of yourself if you want to excel at being a girl dad, right? So that's my belief on that one. Yeah.
I love that. And that hits on one of the counterfeit emotions dyads
Yeah.
of excellence versus perfectionism.
Ooh, that's good. I didn't see that one when you. So for those listening, he showed me the 42 dyads, and I was trying to grasp quickly how to understand the difference. So can you say this one again?
Yeah.
Because I'm really trying to like make sure I'm like, okay, which one's the mask and which one's the authentic? Yeah.
Excellence is the authentic. And
Excellence is authentic.
The counterfeit is perfectionism.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And this idea, and it seems to be getting more and more pervasive with social media, with the tools of today that we didn't have when we were growing up.
Right.
Like it's so much more pervasive, this idea of perfectionism versus just excellence.
Yeah.
And it was so fun to see Ellie on the #1 spot in her gymnastics meet.
Oh, you're right.
And,
yeah.
And that's awesome.
Her smile. If you know her personally, that smile, you see the smile she had on that like half a second clip. It's like so pure. It's so like big and strong. But no, keep going on the excellence and the perfectionism. That's very that's very clear now.
Perfectionism, it's so funny because perfectionism doesn't actually care about being perfect.
Mm-mm.
It only cares about the perception of perfection. Whereas excellence doesn't care at all. It says, I just get to take one more step up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to be at the top today. I just have to keep taking step after step until I reach the goal.
Yeah.
Whereas perfectionism, all it does is look at the gap. How far am I from the top of the mountain? That's where I have to be. That's where I should, put that in air quotes. That's where I should be.
Yeah, that word I don't use. I try to not use that word should, because
Really?
I try to really not use it, because whenever I hear it being used, um, it's a trap to what we're talking about right now, perfectionism versus excellence. And when as you're describing it, it's even more. So when you first said it, and I understood, okay, perfectionism versus excellence. Oh yes, I agree. That makes sense. My brain went right to comparison. So perfectionism,
Yeah.
it sounds like, and even as you're explaining it, it sounds like what I'm thinking of. My definition of it is comparing to something. So you're even saying like, oh, the top of the mountain, the distance between me and that thing up there, I have to do these tasks because I want to be like that thing up at the top.
Yeah.
So it's comparing to something external. And excellence is, well, one step further. Well, where am I at right now? Oh, okay. Well, one step further would be this. It sounds more internal. And that's how I kind of take it.
Yeah.
Is what is excellence for you, right? And what helps me understand definitions sometimes is taking it to the extremes. And so, like, if I wanted to, I'll relate it to fitness here. If I wanted to go bench press the most weight I could bench press, and I want to be excellent at bench pressing, and let's say I had 10 weeks to be excellent at bench pressing, well, what would excellence to me be, right? Well, where are you at right now? Great. Okay, you
Yeah.
have 10 weeks. There's some science behind how fast muscle can grow and injury prevention, all this stuff in sports performance.
Sure.
Excellence would be not missing workouts, doing all the things that I can control versus that I can't control. So food, sleep, water, focused workouts, a good plan, and then doing the plan, right? And then 10 weeks later, you're at whatever weight. Were you excellent in your pursuit of that goal? Yes or no, right? Versus perfectionism is, I want to bench the most out of
Yeah.
everybody. Well, the max for the state of Utah is 575 pounds or whatever it is. I'm only at 300. So it's comparing. That's how I hear it. But I love to hear
Yeah.
what your experience with people who battle that. I hear it a ton in the content creation space with personal brands, with
Yeah.
business owners. I don't know what to post, and I'm a perfectionist, and I'm like, that's an easy excuse. You're lying to yourself. No, you're not. You're scared to look silly on camera. Why? Let's talk about it,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. And perfectionism only focuses on the gap.
On the gap.
Excellence, it says, where's the gain? This is where I've come from and this is where I am.
Hmm.
This is amazing progress. Whereas perfectionism says it doesn't matter how far I've come. It only matters where
Oh,
I should be. And I love that you don't use that word because you won't find it in my previous book. You won't find that word in my coming book, the Counterfeit Emotions book.
yeah.
You won't find it in any of my blog posts. I don't use the word should or shouldn't.
There might be videos of me out there that or speeches or events where I'm speaking wherever, where I'll say it'll come out, well, you should be, well, I don't like you could be wherever you want, but you could be, whatever.
Mhm.
Cause should implies who,
Yeah.
according to
Who
who,
says? Who says you should?
who, why, what?
And are you abdicating your responsibility to that authority?
Right.
Like, well, they say I should,
Who,
so it's their
yeah.
priority, it's their responsibility. It's not me.
Hmm.
I'm just doing it because I should rather than I want to,
Right.
or
Yeah.
that I see the benefit of this, or I know why this is going to help me
Right.
instead of should.
Yeah. I don't use the word should. It's funny. If I could find a clip of me doing that, I before today, I do that all the time. I don't like to use the word should. But anyways, I get excited about it because it just drives home the point of like your language can like greatly dictate where you're going or what you're doing in your daily activities, your life, your goals. Like the way you speak to yourself and about the things you're doing can change your behaviors so quickly, like in the moment,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Of speaking negatively, speaking positively, the right, not the even like saying like the right words. Like there's no right word, but there's words that will get a response, or words that will change your behavior, right? And so if you start using the word should, for example, since we're talking about it, it can bring on these other things. But if you don't understand that word or that phrase gets your brain thinking a certain way, you might not understand why you're maybe trapped
Yeah.
or stuck or having some friction towards whatever it is you're working towards.
Yeah.
So I think they're very important. Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
It's so true. And that brings us to another one of the dyads is nice versus kind.
Mm-hmm.
How nice counterfeits kind. And nice, if you go on the website, you can do your nice type survey, find
Okay.
out what version
Oh,
of
nice.
nice you are. Yeah, nice.
That's cool.
and,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
And one of them is the obligatory nice guy or the nice girl,
Sure.
which is all about should and shouldn't. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going because someone else said I'm obligated to do that because they said, versus I have my own set of values. I have my own boundaries. I know who I am, and I'm going to take that into kindness. And I see that a lot in schools, especially high schools and other places. You know, going back to the girl dad thing,
Yeah.
like, how do you think that people can step out of being the people pleaser, the doormat, the placater of nice behavior, and step into truly being kind?
What a good question. Step one, you said it, is they have to understand who they are first, is what makes sense to me as I think about this off the top of my head. How do you get someone to go from being nice to kind? And so they're not placating or putting on a mask or a show for niceness sakes. They have to, because in order to be kind, the way we've talked about it is, I call it kind of the same team energy. So I'll be kind to Ellie always, and kind to everybody in this world, yourself, anybody, people I disagree with, whatever. I'll be kind, in that I know what I stand for and I know what I don't stand for. I know what I'm trying to do in any situation. Like, it could be something as simple as at a volleyball game. I'm there to cheer on my daughter and give her energy and her team energy and support logistically for things, whatever. And so I'll be kind in making sure that that mission gets completed, right? So if there's an angry parent or whatever, or a bad call from the ref, if we get down on the call, that's not going to help them feel better. So I'll be kind to the ref or whatever the scenario is. But that's because I know the mission I'm on. And so if someone doesn't know the mission they're on, and they don't know how they're okay with completing the mission. So you can be on a mission, but also that's like, I feel like step one of understanding how to go from nice to kind is, what mission are you on? And then how are you okay at accomplishing the mission, right? So I think of like military in a sense where, let's say it's an actual combat mission, let's say, we know as Americans that if we go behind enemy lines, something happens and someone gets left behind because of what, they get separated, we don't leave them behind. That's part of how we accomplish the mission. The mission's not complete until everyone's back, right? And so even understanding, I know that went like 0 to 100 really fast of military, but the same concept applies. If you don't know the mission you're on and you don't know what you're willing to do or unwilling to do on that pursuit of the mission, it's very difficult to be kind because you don't have anything to stand on. You don't have anything to base your decisions off of, right? You're basing it off of, if you're going nice, you're basing it off of not upsetting them or getting a reaction you don't like. That's uncomfortable, right? Which means you're not going to go anywhere towards your goal, that is, right? So I think that's step one. What mission are you on, and what are you willing and unwilling to do to accomplish that mission, right? The tactics.
I love that you included unwilling.
Yeah.
Because that goes to the idea of boundaries.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's interesting if you look at the science between nice and kind. Nice is the people pleaser, the doormat. Kind is what happens here first.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be more kind to someone else than you are to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can be nicer to other people than you are to yourself because nice isn't authentic, but you cannot produce more kindness than you have inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so kindness starts here, and it starts with boundaries. It starts with the idea that I know where I end and you begin. And that's where I'm willing to go, and that's where I'm willing to not go.
Right.
I'm not willing to go to this place. That's my boundary. And kindness says, I'm going to be safe here.
Right.
And then you'll be safe because you know where my boundaries lie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
That's
it's
good. Yeah, you have to know. You have to know. I think that applies to so many different topics. The dyads, anything else in life. If I think that's a big challenge. We could talk about anything on this one, but people don't know who they are fully. They don't know themselves as well as they could. I'll
yeah.
say people know who they are, and I will say I notice people on their journey of understanding who they are. So when someone has a gut reaction, so this is a way to help figure out if someone wants to figure out how do I know who I am and how do I know how I tick and how I operate and what I'm willing and unwilling to do, is when you have a gut reaction to something. Someone asks you a question. It could be anybody, and they ask you to maybe do something. It could be a boss or it could be a family member, whoever, and your gut response to it is, because they say your gut is your second brain, right?
Mhm.
And I believe this. Your visceral reaction inside of what you should, when I say should, what you want to do, or your reaction to that question or ask, but you can't explain why. It's your body's knowledge, like its own library or file cabinet system of experience and knowledge you have in the past, but you're unable to articulate why you understand that, why you know it's a bad
Mm.
idea, why you feel nervous going into this room or into this thing, or why you don't trust that person, or why you want to do this job and not that job, why you want to do this relationship or that relationship, or whatever the decision kind of is. If you don't know how to explain it, but your gut's telling you left or right, your gut is your previous experiences and training and education, whatever it is, that has the correct answer for what you're trying to do, but you're unable to articulate. So if you're ever in doubt of a decision because you don't know how to explain it, but your gut's telling you one direction, trust that gut, because it's not just a feeling,
Yeah.
it's true experience that you've already done, something you've seen, heard enough times to know there's a pattern. And if you go that direction, you know it's going to lead to something you don't already like, even if you can't describe it. You know it's going to lead to something that is not you or your mission. So,
Yeah. So step one, going back to step one, is mission.
yeah,
Understand your purpose, understand where you're willing to go and where you're not willing to go.
yeah.
And then where would you take it from there?
And the original question was
How to go from nice to
how to
kind.
go from nice to kind. Step one, knowing the mission. Step two is knowing how to. I said how to attack the mission, how to do the mission, how to tactically, how does it look? And I think the only way to know how you'll do that, it's kind of like the book Ready, Fire, Aim.
Hmm.
And if you've never read the book Ready, Fire, Aim, just understand. Usually, when you shoot a gun, you ready, aim, fire. Right? So you're getting steady, you're lining up your sights, and you squeeze the trigger. In the book Ready, Fire, Aim, it's line up, get the gun ready, and pull the trigger. Kind of a little bit early, right? Is kind of the idea, and that's all you need to know about the book. Is to do it before it's perfect or like perfectly online, because what's going to happen after that action you take is where all the magic happens, right? So you have to have a data point to look at. And in the Ready, Fire, Aim example, you have a target map over there, a piece of paper, a poster with a bullseye. And you could try to get to the bullseye by ready, aim, aim. And where everyone in this world
Aim.
gets stuck is aim a little better. And you keep aiming and they never pull the trigger. And so the antidote to solving that is to you got to pull the trigger before you ready, fire. All right, get the gun pointed, or the target, the mission pointed in the correct direction.
General direction.
General direction, pull the trigger. Oh, I hit a foot high. Great. Now aim. So you ready, fire, and then aim.
Mm.
It helps you sharpen exactly where you're heading. And to your question, the second step is you have to take action towards what you believe is correct. And it has to be immediate. And so, and that's why I think that's probably why subconsciously I said the gut reaction thing, is
Yeah.
that's how you know what direction to go. That's the firing, right? As opposed to ready, aim. So, all right, I want you to, if I was helping someone figure out how to go from nice to kind, I'd say, what's your mission? Great. Answer the question. Black and white. I'm on this mission. Okay. What are you willing to do and unwilling to do? And they can't answer that question because like, well, I don't know yet. I haven't experienced it yet, which would be normal.
Yeah.
I just now learned my mission. How do I
Yeah.
know what I'm willing to do and not willing to do? That's the fire spot as opposed to aiming. So knowing how you're willing to accomplish your mission is aiming. This makes sense to me now that I'm saying it out loud here because I've never explained it this way. What mission are you on? Great, go do that. And then aim as far as tactics and how we're going to do it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, step 2 is what is your gut reaction to accomplish your mission? Do that.
Take a step.
Take a step towards your mission. If your mission is to be the
Yeah.
best girl dad possible, great. What do you think the best girl dads do? Or what would make you the best girl dad for yourself and your daughter? Oh, I'd probably do this. Do that. It's a great answer. Do that one. Oh, okay. But what if, do that first.
Don't take one more. Just do it.
That is the correct answer. I
Stop
have a crystal
aiming.
ball. I can see into your future. That's the right answer, right? Do that one step. Then come back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did it feel? And did it accomplish the mission? Could you do it with more excellence or whatever? Yeah, that's how it's done in practice. And so I try to explain this. I over-explain some things, not over-explain, but I like to explain in depth to have a practical takeaway tactic, I guess you could use to go implement today after this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Somebody, anybody.
Yeah. And along those lines, like I think about my high school experience.
Okay. Yeah.
And Ava's in high school now. She's the high school age,
Yeah.
and she's going to prom tonight. It's so easy, especially in high school, to be a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Because we want to fit in,
Mhm.
which is the counterfeit of belonging. We want to fit in and change who we are so
Yeah.
we feel accepted.
Yeah.
What would if you were counseling me? So you be my girl dad therapist. And
Sure.
You give me some advice here.
You're doing great.
Thanks, man.
All right. You're asking the right
Thanks, Mike.
questions. That's good.
What would you say to me to help Ava or any girls that are in that junior high school age, Ellie, that would say, what do you do when you have that people pleasing desire that I want to fit in? I don't want to rock the boat because I want to be accepted. And the trouble is, if you never rock the boat, you're not rowing the boat.
Yeah.
You're not progressing the relationship. You're not being that authentic you. So what advice would you give to other girl dads or maybe the girls that are listening to this that are in junior high and high school, when you want to fit in, when you want to be accepted, when you want to, make sure you're not rocking the boat, what's a better way?
Yeah, I would ask questions. I think I think the girls, the parents, girl dads, if we ask some questions, I think the answer will reveal itself. I won't give the advice because it'll reveal itself and you'll find the own answer. So the questions would be, so you say, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm a people pleaser. I want to be nice. And I would ask, rock the boat with who? First question. And then maybe they'll say a name or whatever. And then I would ask, well, what decision are you contemplating that would potentially, you think, rock the boat? Let them say the answer of like, well, I want to sit with this person at lunch, but I know it'll make Jessica mad because of these reasons. And then, so who do you not want to rock the boat with? What would rock the boat? And why do you care about the person that you might rock the boat with? I understand, like they'll say, let's say, so for my daughter, I've asked these same questions to Ellie in different contexts. And so the way you approach this question, or how I've approached it with Ellie to get the response that I want, which is truth and honesty, because then I can actually help direct and guide. I can't tell her what to do. I'm very big on giving Ellie, not giving her, she is her own human, right? She's just younger, right? And so she needs to learn, and all kids, all humans, whether they learn it or not, they're going to be subject to it, is learning how to solve their own problems. And so I need her as a girl dad, as trying to be excellent, I need her to be using that muscle of problem solving as much as possible before she's off to the real world, right? By herself or in moments where I'm not available,
Yeah.
right? So I have her solve her own problems as much as humanly possible, small, big. I don't feed her the answer. I will guide her, and then only if, obviously safety issues, or a purely bad decision, I'll call it, on her end, let's say, or not as great a decision that I believe is worth correcting, I'll do that. And I tell her that too. I'll say, hey, I'll I'm gonna be your dad first, right? And then I'll be your friend second, right? So my job as a dad is to build strong, confident human in yourself who's problem solving, contributing to society, loves their life, loves others, is kind, has you know has boundaries, knows what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah.
That is my mission. And so I'm going to do these things with you, Ellie, these tactics, these traveling, these things I'm going to have you do that I believe are going to build up the skill set and the behaviors in you that you're going to build up yourself naturally. But I'm going to put you in these situations and situations to have you flex those muscles and those skills and those behaviors.
Critical thinking.
Yeah, critical thinking, logical, solving problems, confidence building, bravery, courageousness, confrontation, the ability to, and then communication, I think is like top on all of them, to be able to communicate through all these things, right? And so, and kind of back to the question, so asking those questions of, well, what boat is being rocked by who? Like why do they matter? And so for her, she'll say someone's name. And I'll say Brooklyn because that's her name.
Okay.
It's a friend she has. No, Brooklyn,
Okay.
if you somehow see this, I love you. You're great. You're a very kind kid. You really are. But let's just say, for example, she says Brooklyn, and she doesn't want to upset her for whatever reason. And I'll say, why don't you want to upset Brooklyn? And it seems like a silly question. Like, I know why she doesn't want to upset Brooklyn, because
Yeah, off
Brooklyn
the
and Ellie are
cuff,
friends.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I'll say that to her. I'll be like, so why don't you want to upset Brooklyn? I'm like, I think I know why you don't want to upset her, but describe it. So that way she knows I understand you like her, but I'm trying to understand your reasoning and your thinking versus why do you like Brooklyn or whatever, right? As opposed to like, it's like an opposite, I can't say the word, as like a opposing force. It's the question that's direct. Why don't you want to make her mad? I understand you like her and it makes sense you don't want to make her mad, but like, why don't you want to make her mad?
Yeah.
Well, and then that's like letting the guard down for Ellie and for a lot of people that I speak to on like this kind of same questioning here. So that would be the questions I would ask them, or the advice I would give is, whose boat, like, why don't you want to rock the boat with this person? And why are they important to you? And what happens if you do rock the boat? And if someone were to be upset from you doing the thing that you think is going to rock the boat, is that someone you want to be around if it was a stranger? Right? Because then that helps them determine, is the values and the morals of the person that they're upsetting in alignment with them. And that can help reveal what they believe, their own mission of what they're willing and unwilling to do. Well, I want to be able to do what I want to do, but I don't want to make them mad because I like them. But if it was a stranger, I would say, no, I'm going to do this thing. Let's chew on that.
Yeah.
Where is that going to lead to if you keep accepting this behavior from someone you like? Well, and then it opens up a conversation. So that's the direction I would go with someone contemplating that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that you get into the critical thinking, that you're not just spoon feeding her every answer. You're saying, hey, why?
Right.
And it seems like a nonsensical question. Like, why wouldn't you want to upset her?
Right.
It's like, well, everybody knows the answer to that, but no, let's dig. Let's dig into this.
I want to hear the articulation behind it, because I think things will get things will get revealed that even the person like Ellie in this example, don't even know. So that's like the gut feelings.
Yeah.
Like, the gut feeling is, I know you don't want to upset Brooklyn. She's awesome. She does sleepovers. We do have fun. We do, whatever. Like, she's your friend, but like, why not upset her in this? Why do you think it's going to upset her? And why do you care about Brooklyn so much? Well, so it makes them articulate those feelings they have. And it's no one's asked them, and she hasn't asked herself those same questions of, why do I like her? Or why do I like this thing or not this thing? Well, and putting it into words makes it clear. So you have a good working definition of the thing at hand. Because if you can't define it, is your definition off? And so now you're working towards a target that is actually not exactly, like there's a misalignment, and actually you could do both. Let's say,
Yeah.
you could strengthen the relationship and do the thing that you think is going to rock the boat. But we would never figure that out if we didn't like talk it through. So a lot of things get revealed doing that. So it's great.
Yeah. I love that. And it sounds like Brooklyn's a great friend to Ellie.
Oh, she's great. Yeah, she's super.
She
Yeah,
sounds amazing.
There's a lot of things. I put kids into different categories for Ellie, and I tell her this. They're either not going to help her in life, right? According to my standards.
Mhm.
Not bad kids. Some are bad kids, like in this world, right? Because many reasons. It's the parents usually, or the caregivers, and then there's neutral, and then there's ones who are going to help pull her forward. And I say that in pull her forward or pull her down in areas that I deem important. Behaviors she can learn from this person, good or bad, are going to dictate whether or not I think they're in a not a great category, a neutral category, which I still kind of classify as not great. It's just kind of floating in life, which is not bad. But what do I want for my daughter? And as a girl dad, I know what I want for her. So I'm very clear on telling her, well, they're in this category, that category, or that category. You can be friends with the top two categories. If they're in this category and for some reason you are still attracted to that friendship, I haven't had that happen yet.
Ellie's got a really good picker.
A good North Star. Yeah, she got a good picker, and she's even and she's put the muscle into use before I even had to step in. I never had to step in anywhere. Because she knows what I accept and what I don't accept based off of who I associate with, right?
Yeah.
So like you got to be the thing you want them to be, right? You got to do the things you want them to do. And so I live and breathe that as much as humanly possible, always correcting, always trying to be excellent, just like improve, be better, one step closer, 1% better in anything and everything I do. So, and I share that story with her at the same time. If I make a mistake, I share that with her so she understands where I tripped on this mistake and how we're going to prevent tripping in the future. Yeah, I go on all down that.
I want to dig on this one.
Yeah.
And before we go there, I love how you rephrased. You said there's some bad kids, but then you said there's some not so great kids. And I used to be of the belief that there were good people and bad people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's only good people. And there's good people that don't have tools, that don't have good tools.
Mm-hmm.
That I believe everyone is trying to do the best they can with the tools they have. Yeah. And sometimes we don't have great tools, or we don't even have tools.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, there's some destructive behavior that happens. But at the core of everyone, I believe, is a good person.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that exact question or topic in depth. Are there good people and bad people? That question comes up sometimes because I was a police officer for 5.5 years.
Oh, and you saw a lot of bad behavior, I'm sure.
Every day. Right. Yeah. Every day. And I've never chewed on, I'll say, is this, are there good people and bad people? There are good people out there. I think everyone's inherently good. Yeah. Everyone's inherently trying to be good. Yeah. How you described it, with what they have, the tools they have or don't have. Like in their eyes, there's some funny there's funny analogies in that, like they're so stark. So like I said before, when I try to find definitions, I go to the extremes. Yeah. To see if there's a line, right? And the way to find I don't know if there's a line with anything. You just go to the extreme to see, like, well, yeah, at some point before that, oh, great. So there's somewhere in the middle. So we don't know where it's at in the middle of this decision tree or whatever it is. There was a comedian. I love comedians. Here, I'll phrase it before I say it. It's nothing bad, but it's just the truth. But it's logical.
We got the family podcast.
Yeah. Oh, true. That's right. No, it's not. No, nothing violent. Nothing like that. I'm like building it up to something. You know, you
Spit
mute
it
me.
out. Spit
No,
it out.
yeah. No, it's funny.
We can edit later.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. That if you want. So I love comedians for a lot of reasons. I follow a lot of comedians on social media because they're really good at communicating and they're really good at painting a picture
Yeah.
on difficult concepts and topics that are very taboo or we don't touch or are sensitive. Uh, and they're very good at navigating these hard topics so well, right? You may find it funny or not funny, uh, but they do it so eloquently. And I love that mastery of communication.
Yeah.
And I love the humor piece and the misdirection and the cleverness and the surprise. Oh, it was this, like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
or and the relatability. They're so good. And so to your question of like, not to your question, but to your topic of good and bad, they talked about this exact same topic. I can't remember who it was. They talked about terrorists, right?
Mm.
And so a terrorist, let's just say, picture a terrorist in your head, whatever that may look like. That person who is if you're calling someone a terrorist, you're thinking they're out to go harm people for their own cause, for their own political cause, whatever the thing is they're trying to go do. They're willing to hurt, kill, or whatever, people. Now put yourself in that person's shoes. They think they're doing the right thing. They're on their mission. And it goes back to the topic of what they're willing or unwilling to do to achieve that mission,
Yeah.
right? In the greater good of the mission that they believe so strongly in,
Yeah.
right? And so just like girl dads, we're willing and unwilling to do certain things. You hear a lot of times, I'm willing to die for my daughter and my kids, and I would do anything and I would sacrifice it all and whatever. It sounds like the same energy of, say, the example of like the terrorist from that comedian's joke of they believe they're doing the right thing. Now, and so it's good and bad people. I don't know if I don't know bad people, because I think there's and I've heard definitions of, or people's definitions of inherently, or I don't know the word they use. I think they use the word morally bad. That everyone can agree in this world that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good.
And I love where you're going with this. And let's just do an experiment.
Are there bad people?
Let's do an experiment.
There's some bad decisions. Yeah, I want to
There-
hear the
there are
experience.
some really
there's some
bad-
terrible and repeatedly pattern
and
over
destructive
and over from the same person. So it's like,
Yes.
what are they doing good? I'm confused. So it's a good question. It's good to dive into it.
So let's do a fun experiment. Would you say Nelson Mandela is a good person?
I would say so. I know who he is. I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he's good.
So for our listeners who don't know, Nelson Mandela was one of the instrumental figures in ending apartheid, the racial war in Africa that was millions of people were dying because of this. He was one of the key figures in ending apartheid.
That sounds good.
And it sounds good, right? sounds wonderful.
Sounds very good.
Rick, really good.
I know exactly who he was and everything. I couldn't give you a history lesson on that right there. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what it was. Yeah. Sounds good though.
And in his younger days, he was considered a terrorist.
By who though?
By the other side.
Because I'm considered a terrorist by people who I think are terrorists, potentially.
right.
So who's saying this? Is what my first question is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I would ask.
He was jailed for over 20 years.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
He was put in prison for being a terrorist.
By who?
By the government.
Okay.
That supported apartheid.
Right.
And that's the thing is Nelson Mandela thought he was doing the best he could.
Right.
With the tools he had.
Yeah.
And you look at Desmond Tutu, the Archbishop of South Africa at the time, who also was a key figure. He chose a different path. He wasn't considered a terrorist. He was a religious man. And with that, they both had the same goal. But at one point in his life, he was classified by the government as a terrorist. Yet he was the man that, after being in prison for a couple decades, came out and said, there's a better way.
Right.
And so if we were to classify him as that one moment in time, at that one designation, that means he doesn't have the ability to change. He doesn't have the ability to become better and repent and make his life something more. And when we put people in that category of you're bad,
right,
all of a sudden they don't have the opportunity. to come back.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And the very first thing that I even asked on this line of this thought here of who said he was a terrorist, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
he was in jail. Ooh, that sounds bad. Who was, my mind immediately goes to like investigative mode of, so even how you're wording it of people think he's bad, like thought he was bad because he was jailed and all these things for 20 years, so he's classified as bad. He's classified as bad, says who? Right? I say that phrase a lot, or similar ones where it's like, according to who?
Yeah.
Right? You're not you, but people are saying he was classified as bad. Who is saying that truth right there? Who is saying that as truth? He was in jail. He's 20 years bad, right? And that could be applied to so many even current events, right? But it's who's saying this, and it goes back to even just that quick analogy of the terrorist thinks I'm a terrorist. Well, I'm certainly the good guy, and the other guy's thinking I'm certainly the good guy, right? And so,
Right.
So I question a lot because it is because of the police experience of being lied to pretty much every call for service to a degree. I had over 16,000 calls for service.
Wow.
And so it was 10-hour shifts, 4 days a week, 5.5 years, 5 years out of the academy and stuff. It was an average of, I think it was 12 to 14 calls per shift for
Wow.
5 years straight, right? And so, and I got pretty good at figuring out people and behaviors and patterns and all the things. And there were still times where I thought one way, and then clear definitive evidence shows the opposite. And I'm like, I thought for sure, like someone, for example, like said the truth, and I thought they were now the victim or whatever it was. Certainly they're not lying, because of like, it all makes sense. The story arc they're giving me makes so much sense, even with like the physical evidence of like the room or whatever it was. Like, I'm like, that makes sense. And the structure of the story of like, oh, that's boyfriend, that's girlfriend, that's the witness, that's the neighbor. Oh, this makes sense. Like, that would make sense on paper too. And then you get like video evidence that's like clearly, you're like, Susie,
opposite.
You lied to me, like, anyways, that comes to mind. So, but back to the point of, good and bad. Yeah. I question a lot of the information. It's not even about good and bad. I question the information I receive, from anybody, whether it's government for sure, or whether it's an individual, a person, a thing, a label, whatever. I want to understand. And what's worked well for me, for those that want to even, I don't know what the word is, get better at this, or just like that this resonates with, is I have a very curiosity baseline of like, even like before we started filming here, of like the dyads, right? Okay, so nice and kind. What does that mean? Tell me like I'm 6 years old. I want to make sure I understand this, right? Make it simple. That's why I asked the question, like, well, who says that? And that comes up a lot for me, because I'm working with entrepreneurs a lot, and content creators and whoever, where, and they say something that's like the perfectionism talk earlier. Well, it has to be like this, or like, who said who?
Who said?
Right? Well, I can't be that thing. How do I get that? I'm like, you just do it. Well, how do you do it? Like, I don't have that background. I was like, I can't do it. You have to have more certifications in this. I'm like, says who?
Yeah.
What do you?
They're waiting.
I know a lot of people in the entrepreneur space. I would say it in like the kindest way, because I would hear this phrase a lot. Well, I'm not smart enough to be able to figure that out. I can't make that much money. I'm not that smart. I'm like, and I say this, I know a lot of dumb people making a lot of money, right? And dumb as in like, you know what I'm saying? They're not dumb, but they're also not smarter than you are. And I can tell you that because I've seen behind the curtains. I know distinctly all the details of what's going on. You can do it, brother. Like, you can do it. Well, how do I do it? That's the game. Take one step.
So many people are waiting for permission, or waiting until it's perfect, or
permission.
Yeah.
People are waiting for permission, and a support team. They don't even know that they want. This is the whole peanut butter pill. I told you this before we started filming. Is there's a pill. So for animals, veterinarians, you have a dog that's sick and it needs this medicine because it's missing that ingredient in their body and it's going to help heal their leg, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They won't eat the pill because it tastes gross and that's not what they want. They want a dog toy. They want to do whatever they want to do. But so you have to wrap it in cheese or in peanut butter, and all of a sudden they want this pill. They don't know it's there. It's the thing that's going to solve the problem, but we got to first give them what they think they want,
Yeah.
the peanut butter. Oh, I'll eat that. And then, but I'm also going to give you the pill because it's what you need. It's going to solve the problem. I lost my train of thought there, but it's, permission. So many of these entrepreneurs, they think they need strategy and tactics and the new hack and the whatever. And a lot, they need permission is a big one. It's not all of them. Some of them are just like, tell me what to do. I'll do it. Oh, you're already in. You're leading in. This is easy. This is an easy one.
Yeah.
But a lot of them need permission, and then support. They need ongoing support because when they have that moment of clarity, they'll take action. So ready, fire. They learned how to fire. They took the big first step, but then they needed to aim. And during that aim process, they're now in logical thinking mode, and they need to get that permission again. They somehow lost it in that aiming, which is the support. The support's not about the tactics. Sometimes like, oh, hey, put your headline like this, or like you're talking logic, not emotion in your ad. Like it doesn't line up. Small tactic stuff, but really it's don't stop taking steps forward.
Yeah.
Keep doing the thing. You can do it. Does it feel uncomfortable? Good. That's you're doing it right.
Good.
Good.
Yes.
This is how it works.
Everything you want is one step outside of the comfort zone.
Right there. Just keep on digging right there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And this is such a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I love your mission. We kind of talked about that before. If you could give Ellie a message right now.
Yeah.
And
text her on the plane.
And this was your last message to her.
Mm-hmm.
As someone that loves her so much.
Yeah.
That wants to protect her, that wants to keep her safe, that wants to guide her, that has the dad's heart, the girl's dad's heart. What would you say to Ellie right now?
That's funny. I thought about this before because it's a real thing. It's funny. I knew that's the question. It's funny. He pushed, for those that can't see, he pushed a box of Kleenexes towards me, trying to build up this. He's talking about people crying on the podcasts and all this one. So I had one last, but this message, I've thought about this before, as a police officer in the military.
Yeah,
she was born while I was, it's very real. I've been shot at a few times when I was a cop, and foot pursuits, people pulling knives on me. And I had those moments when she was the first shooting I was involved with, and she was, when was that? It was like summer of, I forget the date, 19. So she was, whatever that is, 4 years old, or 4.5 years old. So like, and then many foot pursuits and vehicle pursuits and fights and all the cliche stories of police. It is scary. It is real. I mean, I was in a city of 100,000 people attached to Portland. So Portland Metro, so 2.2 million for Portland Metro. So we got all the crimes, we got murders and all the things.
And Portland is a good place for that.
There's some shenanigans for sure. And so I'm not like it's some podunk town where you get one murder every 100 years, right? Yeah. And so I've thought about that, and my mind goes super logical on like, if I could give her one last message, it's just, my brain does go, I'm pretty desensitized to a lot of things, but I know it's the family podcast, so I'll be very polite. And because I'm a family man for sure. And so if I could give one last message to Ellie, first of all, my mission with this message would be that it forever helps her until the day she dies, right? And so if I give one message to her, it's really just help solve the future challenges that I know will come up. It's hard. You can go so many different directions with this. it'd be the practical application of being a I want you anything you want in this world, Ellie, whether you want to have certain emotions improve, you want to have certain behaviors, skills, um, money, health, relationships, whatever it is you're wanting in this world, you have to be around people who are already doing it. And you have to protect who you're around like your life depends on it. It's it would be that message there, which is very practical. It's not an I'll love you message, which I would want to give her if I give one sentence, right? Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know, because like the practical part of my brain wants to give her practical advice to go live the life that I want her to live, which is the life she wants to live.
Yeah.
And so I want her to have the tools necessary to do that. And I think she has that even as of now, but it's just like it's just like solidifying those ones. But if it wasn't a practical, it's hard because if it wasn't a practical piece of advice, I would give her. And it's just like a last message for me is,
Yeah. What would you want her to hold on to? What would you
yeah,
want?
I love you. You've always been amazing. You are enough. You can continue to you are enough. You are worth everything that you know you're worth. No one can dictate what you do or don't do or feel or no feel. You control your outcome. You are worth it. I love you. You're always loved. No matter what I said or how I made you feel, just know that I did it out of a place of love to help you grow and become the best version of yourself possible. You are loved. You will always be loved, and I'll be there when you pass as well. So,
Mm.
yeah, something like that. I got to work on that. It's good though. Good question.
I love that last part. I'll be there when you pass as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
We'll meet up at some point. I don't know how, but we'll meet again.
I love that. Yeah. And in the framework of counterfeit emotions, there's one emotion that can't be counterfeited. There's one emotion without a counterfeit. And I ask every guest,
That can't be counterfeited. So
yeah,
it's always authentic.
it's always
Okay.
authentic and it has no counterfeit. And that is the emotion of peace.
Of peace.
Yeah.
There's no counterfeit to peace.
There's no counterfeit to peace.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's so many reasons why. There's spiritual reasons why. There's neuroscience that talks about that every other emotion has a sensory perception except for peace. Peace is the only one without. There's it's fascinating the science of peace. Then I ask every guest as our final question is
good. Let's see.
Is where do you find peace? Where does Mike Draper find peace?
Where do you find peace? Where do you find peace? Well, you got to ask, what is peace to yourself first? When are you at peace? I'm diving in my head of like, when am I at peace? And then where do you find it? When are you at peace? Well, the question was, when are you at peace? How do you find peace? I'm like trying to break it down. How do you find peace? I think that's finding yourself. So when you know what you want and why you want it, and then go get it. That doesn't mean necessarily accolades or a thing like building a business or building a family. What is it that brings you peace? How do you go find it? You have to know what. This is where ready, fire, aim comes into play. You have to go do what you think is going to bring you peace. Does it? After you get there? So you got to attain it first, whatever that thing is. Oh, financial freedom. Oh, giving back to the world. Being a mom, being a dad, and raising them, and then they grow up and now they're 25 years old plus. Does that still bring you peace? You check box on the mission. What brings you peace?
And I think very specifically, not what brings people peace. What brings Mike Draper peace?
Oh, it brings me peace.
Yeah.
Oh, knowing I gave my best. Yeah, knowing that what I actually did was all I had to give in all the areas that I care about. And right now it's just Ellie. So there's no doubt in my mind of like what I'm supposed to be doing every day.
Hmm.
Even coming here, confirming the dates. And the first thing I checked was Ellie's volleyball schedule, right? I'm missing one practice, which is today, which I don't, I have mixed emotions on practices of like going to them and not going to them. I do believe giving them space. You got to give them space to be themselves and not have a watchful helicopter eye of a parent,
Yeah.
because there's growth there. So, but nonetheless, I usually at the end of it would come see the last 15 minutes when they're doing a scrimmage and whatever. So what brings me peace? Um, what brings me peace is when there's no other stressors in my life that are unnecessary for the mission I'm on. I'm trying to be the best dad that I can be. And anything that hurts that mission does not bring me peace. It can be financial, it can be anything, time. So if I can't do what I want, when I want, how I want, with who I want, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Unsubscribe from that. Right?
Unsubscribe.
Yeah,
Not to the podcast.
Yeah, no. Subscribe to the podcast. This is great. And yeah, so just in complete control, which that word sometimes people have put a negative connotation to it of like you're a control freak or this, which I disagree. I don't even disagree with people. I just don't even care what they think. They can great. That's not what I mean by that. Like control. Doing what you want, right?
It's when you step into your power.
Yeah. What do you want to do? Go do that and then adjust, right? I've done some things where I'm like, oh, I thought I wanted this. I want to adjust. And then it brings peace. And I think different seasons bring different levels of peace. So for me, there's seasons of sprinting that I love business wise. It's fun to build business. It's like the unknown, the unfamiliar, there's growth.
Super fun.
The unexpected and like, I don't know who I'm going to meet tomorrow at the event I'm speaking at. And it's like, whoever's meant to be there is meant to be there. And whatever conversations are going to happen, meeting you, anybody, right? You don't know what it's going to lead to. And that's exciting. That's why I think it led me into why I leaned into social media so much is like, what else can this social media thing do? Who else can I meet? What other tables can I be at? What other rooms can I get in? And conversations can I have that I currently don't feel like I'm worthy of, right? It's fun to surprise yourself. That part's cool. And so that brings me peace in that I'm doing things that I want in that season. And it can change. But overall, what brings me peace, like practically, I mean, having money and income and then waking up with no alarm clock, right? Going to see my daughter, I like being really productive during the day. It feels so good at the end of the day to just stop at, say, whatever time, 3 p.m., 7 p.m. of working and then relaxing, make a meal that's like healthy, delicious, watch some Netflix and just kind of veg out for 2 hours before going to bed, knowing you had a day that you just crushed, that you did all the things you want to do. That brings me peace. I love that.
That accomplishment, the
Yeah,
the feeling of I'm working towards my purpose.
I executed. I was the best I could be today. I couldn't do anything more today. That's what I got. I did my gym. I woke up at the right time and did these things and did them well. I brought people with me. I inspired others. Had some fun. Drank some good coffee that I liked. That's a whole topic. All the things, like just the things that I want to do. That was a good day. That makes me peace.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And thank you guys for joining us one more week on the Counterfeit Emotions podcast. So grateful that you could be on this journey with us to find that one emotion that has no counterfeit, which is peace. Ava, Ellie, we love you guys. Dedicating this episode to you. And you guys are amazing. You are fantastic. Your hearts are so beautiful. And we're just lucky to be able to say that we're dads.
Absolutely. It's the greatest gift in the world.
So,
yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.